Oh, look at you coming in here all angry. Oh, I like it. It's cute. All puffed up and furious with me. Ah, most people come in here and they're all scared. They want something. They're intimidated. They're pleading. But you come in here with your chin up and your eyes hard. And it is so cute. Go ahead, have a seat. I said, sit. Good boy. So, I see that you found the clause. That is impressive. You actually read the contract. Most people do not read contracts that long. In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of lawyers don't read contracts that long. They just assume they know what's in it. They have their paralegals go through it. But you went reading through all of it. Not your lawyer. I would have heard from your lawyer first if you'd had your lawyer look through it. So, how long have you been sitting on that, huh? How long have you known? I think it's been a few days. I think that you've been thinking about how to approach me. I think you've been reading and rereading and thinking that it can't possibly say what you think it says. And yet it clearly does. And then I think you sat there thinking about what to do about it, how to approach it. What could it possibly mean? And yet still you didn't send your lawyer. Why might that be? I think because just a part of you already knew. And you just needed to look me in the eye when you confirmed it. All right. You're here now. We can discuss the contract. You know, I knew your great-grandmother. Not quite the non sequitur it is, no. I know, I don't look like I'm old enough, do I? Let's just say I've had work done on my appearance. Oh, your great-grandmother. She was sharp. So smart. Very pragmatic. I love pragmatism in a woman. In anybody, really, but, you know, girl power. I know you've heard the stories about your great-grandmother, like how she built your family's company from nothing at a time when women did not have many opportunities. Certainly not respect. And a single woman working from a single storefront, hiring one delivery guy, day in, day out, all those long hours for so many years. And there were people who didn't like having a woman for competition. But they weren't willing to put in the hours that she did. They didn't put in the work that she did. They didn't work for as little as she did for as long as she did. So, and by the time she was 40 or so, she'd built something up that was worth protecting. And she had to protect it because, as I say, there were people who did not like competition from a woman, especially. She knew she couldn't protect it all by herself. So, she came to me. Oh, you're still trying to do the math on that. Don't even bother. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just listen and absorb. Okay? All right. So, your grandmother comes to me in November. It was raining. Blustery day. It was a Tuesday, actually. She comes into this building, this exact building. It wasn't mine yet. I was already here because I do tend to occupy spaces before I own them. But she goes to the front desk downstairs and she asks who's in charge. They tell her and she says, no, who's actually in charge? My gosh, I loved when she did that. It was fabulous. They sent her to the 12th floor. I was on the 13th. She took the stairs. All 13 floors. And when she gets to my office and knocks on the door, she's not even winded. She tells me that she needs a deal. And she wants a real deal. She doesn't want the kind of deal that's going to fall apart in just a dozen years or so. She wants long-term commitment. She asked me what I wanted, and she was willing to give me anything. The woman was willing to give me her soul in order to protect what she had built for her family. But as much as I admired your great-grandmother, I didn't have any desire for her soul. She told me to name my price. Actually, no. She said, I know what you are, and I'm not here to pretend. So just name your price and let's stop wasting each other's time. Really liked your great-grandmother. So we negotiated. I told her what I wanted. Not the usual collateral. What I wanted was... God, this is such a stereotype, but I am not the one who came up with this idea. Blame the guy upstairs. Look, I asked for her firstborn son. I know, how biblical. From a demon, go figure. But honestly, there are only so many things that we can actually ask for, and that was what was going to best serve my needs, as it were. And so here we are, with you, the firstborn son. Sorry, what? Are you your great-grandmother? You want to know if your great-grandmother was your... No. What the Habsburgs do you think? No. You are not her... How would that even be possible? The woman was 80 when you were born. What? Oh. Okay, actually... No, you're right. Okay, so you're right. Let me roll back some of that incredulity that I just expressed. Yeah. Clearly, I was around at the time, and I'm still looking pretty, fertile. So it's a fair question, considering we're talking about supernatural occurrences. No, your grandmother, your great-grandmother is not your mother. You're the firstborn son in your family. It doesn't have to be a really literal. She didn't have to give birth to a son. She gave birth to a daughter, who gave birth to a daughter, who gave birth to you. You are the firstborn son from your matrilineal line. Got it? Got it. So here we are. In exchange for you, your family, and your family business has enjoyed generations of protection from competitors, from unforeseen occurrences that would affect your business. And I promise you that was not always easy in a changing economy. Generations of your family have enjoyed competitors being kept at bay and debts being cleared, resources becoming miraculously available to you when they did not become available to your competitors. And as it pertains to you particularly, you have been protected professionally and personally. What can I say? I'm protective of what's mine. And you have been mine since, well, since before your parents were born. Huh. I assure you, it is all completely binding. Your grandmother signed it herself in a blood covenant and put your name on it, the name she'd already chosen for the firstborn son of this family. Can you imagine what an amusing difference it would have made if your parents had not decided to honor her wishes for the name of a firstborn son? Oh my goodness. Foiled by a loophole. But they did name you as she wished, and so there you are, a blood contract written with your name generations ago. You are angry. That is understandable. You didn't even know about any of this. Forget about consent to it. You've spent your whole life thinking that you had inherited this bounty and that you had the obligation to protect the legacy but not pay for it. And now, all of a sudden, you find out that you were the payment all along. Never even aware of your betrothed. I, on the other hand, have been very aware of you. I mean, I didn't pay much attention for the first couple of decades, I'll admit that. For one thing, the contract didn't kick in until your 25th birthday, and for another, well, you weren't in the business that I was meant to protect. If there had been any serious threat to you, I would have been aware of it and done something, but you led a relatively safe life. You took very little interference from me. One time, a car accident. You came away with a scar when you could have come away with absolutely nothing. But other than that, once the clause was triggered, though, I did pay attention. I wanted to assess what my payment was. I wanted to see who you had become as a person. I'm happy to tell you I wasn't disappointed. I was pleased, actually. I started finding ways to put myself in your path, to get to interact with you directly, as with this collaboration between your company and mine. And, of course, that contract. I want you to know I didn't have to put that clause in the contract. I mean, you and I were already a sealed deal decades and decades ago. But I felt it important to give you a chance. I'm not entirely sure why, to be honest. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, but I'm not that old for a demon. And I mean, it's been less than a century since I signed that contract with your great-grandmother. That's like no time at all for me to have, I don't know, grown a heart. But whatever the reason. Actually, I know the reason. I think I know the reason. I might know the reason. A few months back, we were in a meeting where you had caught the discrepancy in that subsidiary valuation. And you just presented it to me. You didn't apologize for having caught it. You just looked me right in the eyes when everybody else was just looking down at their paperwork, at their laptops, at their what have you. They just wouldn't meet me in the eye when you told me that my firm had made a mistake. It was refreshing. That was refreshing. You know, when you came in here angry, I told you that people come to me intimidated or wanting, never feeling as an equal to me. You did. You came in as if I had something to answer to you about. That was an interesting change. Anyway, turned out that you weren't what I'd expected or what I'd hoped. You were different. You were something I hadn't imagined or planned for, or you were better. And so I added the clause into our work contract. It's unusual, obviously. It's also an offer, not a command. I mean, I could make it a command. I could. But I've chosen not to be that kind of a demon. Well, not to you. I'm still that kind of a demon to other people, but, I mean, according to the contract, you and I are already married. Just, you didn't know about it for the past few months. But, as the contract says, if you choose to marry me, I played with the wording a little bit. If you choose to marry me, then, well, actually, either way, you should know that the protection doesn't go away. It doesn't expire if you choose not to. I can't go back on that. The covenant would just sit dormant. I wouldn't compel you just because I could. I'm not going to just show up at your door demanding your life dedicated to me. That's not going to happen. I'll just keep quietly doing what I've always done. Make sure that nothing bad happens to your company or to you, because that's what I promised. But if you choose to be with me, like, I can offer you. Well, what I can offer you has nothing to do with the contract and also everything to do with it, and everything to do with the fact that I've thought about you fairly constantly since I started watching you and then getting to meet you, and absolutely, positively, constantly since that day in the meeting. So, what I'm offering you is more. The contract says that if you marry me, then we will have combined assets. What it doesn't say is what my assets are. Shared power. My power. Not just for protection. You would own me as much as I own you. So, there's that. I am nervous right now. Are you nervous? I'm nervous right now. I've never been nervous. Demons don't get nervous. Usually. Anyway, there you have it. That's my offer. You know what it entails and what I'm actually offering. You can take your time to decide. I literally have all the time in the world. So there's no rush. But would you like to consider the offer? Yeah. Of course. Of course we can get to know each other better. That's all right then. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Wow, okay, yeah, we can do that. I can date you. Date my husband. Should I not call you that yet? Okay. I get it. I get it. I get why that's weird. Okay. You know, your great-grandmother said you'd be worth the wait. She didn't lie.